メジャー翻訳速報。
ドジャースの春季キャンプは大詰めを迎え、明日には大谷翔平選手が今春初めて実戦に出場します。肩の手術から復帰し、待望のカクタスリーグデビューとなります。エンゼルス戦では大谷選手と共にウィル・スミス選手も出場予定。この動画では現地の最新番組を日本語で翻訳してお届けします。チャンネル登録と高評価、そして皆さんの感想もコメント欄でお待ちしています。
Our Sportsnet LA studio joined today by JP Hornstra, as well as good left-handed stick down there in the end. That is James Loney. We saw something today, James, we're not going to see much of during the regular season, and that is the Dodgers getting shut out in a game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give it to them right now. This is when you want those things to happen. We'll give the Rockies all the wins. You know, obviously, you're not playing your starters the full games. You see some guys with the double ear flaps. Some of the minor league guys come in late. So, you know, it's going to happen in these kind of games.
Never make the last out of the game at third base, John, is what my Little League coach told me. I remember that to this day, only in spring training.
All right, well, let's hear from one man who made his Cactus League debut today. Freddie Freeman saw his first game action since winning the World Series MVP, and he talked about it with Kirsten Watson.
It was nice, much anticipated. I've been kind of waiting for this day, 12 weeks post-op today. So I felt good. I had a plan of kind of swinging a lot because I'm a little behind in my at-bat, so I wanted to swing a lot more than I normally would just to see where my timing's at, and I actually saw the ball pretty well and felt pretty good up there.
I remember when you told us when we were at Dodgers Fest how you had just taken some swings for the first time. You were starting to get a little antsy. Now that you are in the swing of things, what is just kind of the goal for you as we close? There's only, 2 weeks left of spring training now?
No, we leave, in 13 days. Yeah, I'm still, obviously I DH today. I'm probably DH again Saturday. So like tomorrow I'm going to go and it's more of, I got to do like plyo stuff, like more jumping and stuff. That's the kind of the last, like a high throw at first base is kind of where I'm a little iffy on right now. I mean, my ankle feels pretty good, so I'm good enough to be able to get my at-bat, so I'm hoping to play DH Saturday and hoping to get out the first on Sunday. We'll kind of see how it responds, though.
When you reflect on just last year, obviously a lot happened, but let's focus just on the injuries. To think there was the finger, rib, ankle, and then to be the hero of the World Series. Could you just believe how all of that just managed to play out?
Yeah, not really. I had a lot going on for about 5 weeks there with injury-wise, but credit to our training staff. We put in a lot of work. We're still, Bernard and I are, we're here. I think we got here at like 9:30 today just to get me ready for 3 at-bats today. So a lot's going into me being able to get on the field, and it's all to our training staff. We put in a lot of work, and I'm just thankful that I was able to have that opportunity with all the injuries I went through, and I was able to grind it out, and thankful for the guys being able to give me a few days off in between the NLCS and the World Series to help me get on the field.
Obviously, we saw what the top of the order looks like last year with Shohei and Mookie and yourself, Dave Roberts this year. It's going to be the same for this year. Of course, add Teoscar to that 4th spot. What makes this top of the order so magnificent?
Yeah, I think it's more of you can hit both sides of but we can hit left and right. One swing of the bat, you can change the game. I mean, leading off with Shohei, I mean, it's something else. And then it's not a typical power hitter. He steals 60 bases pretty much last year. And then you got Mookie, it's just Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer, and it's just fun to hit behind him and get on base. And Teo, middle of the battle order, Silver Slugger, and then you can go Max, Will. It's just all-star after all-star, so it's fun. As long as we can stay healthy and put together good at-bats, hopefully we can score a lot of runs this year.
We heard Freddie Freeman say that 12 weeks ago today when he had the ankle surgery, JP, and he's probably going to continue to have treatment on that ankle through at least the All-Star break. He's not going to be 100% for a while, but today was certainly a positive step, returning to game action, and of course he lined a single to right field his first at-bat.
Yeah, John, if you think about the last playoff run, the Dodgers winning the World Series, and all the guys who were dealing with injuries during that process, honestly, I think Freddie Freeman is the one who worried me the most about being able to bounce back coming into this year, just given the volume of injuries and his importance to the team. So to see his swing looking like that in Game 1, I am very optimistic. Obviously, this is an injury he's going to have to monitor throughout the season. I think we knew that coming in. It was just how effective can he be in spite of the pain, in spite of the treatments that he's going to have to go through this year. And so far, so good.
Yeah, we know he's the kind of guy that wants to be in these spring training at bats, right? He treats these games like they are the World Series because he wants to get a hit every time. He wants to have a good at bat. And we saw it today. I mean, he put the ball in play every time. He hit the ball hard on his base hit. And when guys are missing out over the plate, he's going to get base hits. I mean, he's not a guy that's really going to miss those kind of pitches when it's 2 strikes. You know, he was down 0-2 in that at bat when he got the base hit. So that's just typical Freddie right there. You know, nothing surprises me anymore.
All right, Dodgers fall to the Rockies by the final of 2-0. Let's head back to Scottsdale. Dave Roberts is standing by with Kirsten.
Well, Dave, we'll start with Freddie Freeman. For him to make his Cactus League debut, what did you see from him? 3 at-bats, 1 hit. How did you feel kind of just approach things like that?
Yeah, I thought just good getting Freddie back in the lineup. Makes the lineup longer and look right. And he caught a barrel his first at-bat. And I thought he swung the bat well. So we got 1 hit, but I thought overall good to have him back.
When you think about just the pitchers that we were able to see, a lot of the bullpen arms, of course, also Landon Knack there to start this one. How have you seen them continue to just progress and build up, move in the right direction?
I think they're all getting their work in. They're all building up, getting on a regular schedule. And some of those guys weren't particularly sharp today. But that's kind of why you do spring training, and they all came out of it fine.
I know versatility has always been key with this organization. Just to see Kike at third, of course, getting some reps, but making a big play early in the game. How have you seen him just coming into camp and performing defensively?
He just hasn't missed a beat, you know, whether it's at first base and him making plays over there or kick him over to third base, and made a really good play early on for Landon Knack. And he's just a baseball player. I trust him anywhere on the diamond.
So today it was Freddie Freeman returning. Tomorrow it's going to be Shohei Ohtani as well as Will Smith. Feels like all of those guys are really going to be back out here and ready for opening day, huh?
They are. You know what? It was a short off season, and some of these guys are, you know, we're working them back slowly, but we're starting to get kind of back to full strength. And I'm excited to see Shohei, obviously, and see Will back in the lineup and kind of get some semblance of what we're going to, you know, have this year.
Yeah, be working with. All right, Dave, thank you so much as always.
Thanks, Kirsten.
When Max Muncy got the call to the Dodgers in April 2018, even he could not have imagined what was to come. Since then, he's hit 190 home runs, good for 5th most in Los Angeles Dodgers history. A franchise record-tying 13 postseason home runs, including that World Series walk-off in 2018. And 2 World Series championship rings, with reason to believe he's going to be adding some more. Recently at Camelback Ranch, Kirsten got connected with Max Muncy.
Well, Max, this is your 8th season with the Dodgers. You now have 2 World Series rings, quite a lot of accolades as well in there. What has it been like just with your time with this organization?
It's been amazing. It's a blessing and honor, really. It's every day I show up to work, I get super excited about it. And, you know, with last year, the injuries, it kind of gave me a new light to just not take any day for granted. And it's, you know, I'm really excited. Obviously, we won last year, but just the team we have this year, a lot of the same guys and the new guys we brought in, they've been fun so far. And, you know, to me, that's kind of the best part about the baseball season is you're around the guys all year long. And it's, you know, you create so many memories that it's a lot of fun, and it's something that I definitely look forward to.
Well, let's dive into last year. You mentioned the injury. You had that oblique strain that kept you sidelined for, I think, a little bit longer than you had hoped for.
I think it was longer than anyone had hoped for.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that we just weren't sure what was going on. It's the oblique was healed, and then I'd try to come back, and, you know, something would happen, and it'd feel like I was going back to day one, and we realized it wasn't the oblique eventually. The oblique was hurt, but towards the end there, it wasn't the oblique. It was a bunch of other stuff going on, and, you know, it was just a long grind that by the time the 3rd month rolled around, you start having questions, you know, like, I've been playing for a lot of years now. Am I maybe getting towards the end? Like, is this my body telling me that you can't really do this anymore? And that was a tough time for me. You sit at home, the team goes on the road, I tried everything I can to get on the road, but they usually don't let rehab guys go. There's only a limited amount of space, you know, when you're on the road. And that was a tough one for me, just starting to have those thoughts creep in that, am I ever going to get healthy again? And I'm like, am I going to get healthy enough just to do anything this year to help this team? And we finally got it figured out eventually, and, you know, that was big for me, but I feel like I came back with kind of a new light in baseball, and I just tried to enjoy that last couple months as much as I could.
Now, I know that when we talk about the 2024 season and winning the World Series, that's now in the past. But as you reflect on just what that October run looked like, winning, the celebration, does it give you just a different type of fuel heading into this year as to what you all are hoping to achieve?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to me, obviously you win the World Series and that's as special as it can get. But for me, the way we did it, the way from the first off day after we win, we get to bye, and for the players to come together the way we did and kind of take control and tell, you know, the front office and the coaching staff, hey, this is how we want to do things. We want to be, you know, the boys for these 3 weeks that we got in the playoffs. We want to make this as special as we can be. We know what we have. We want to win. This is how we need to do things. And so for the players to kind of take over control like that, that was what was so special to me about it all. And it created so many, you know, special memories that the postseason is a whole nother season in itself. It feels like it's longer than the regular season, but you know, it's really only like 3 weeks long. And so trying to find a way to carry that over into this season and know that the players all know what we need to do. We know what we have here. We're not being stagnant after winning. We're not, you know, trying to still celebrate. You know, we had the team meeting yesterday. They showed the video of, you know, the highlights from last year. And it's like, hey, it's great, but that's last year. How are we going to get better for this year? How are we going to get better today? And, you know, the whole team has already been bought in on that. And it's, yeah, it does get a little tough when they're still talking about, you know, today they walk in and say, if you want to buy, you know, extra rings and extra trophies. And it's, you know, that always gets a little tough, but I think everyone's pretty hungry for this year also.
I also heard a watch collection that you guys might be creating.
We're working on that. We're working on it.
I like it.
Well, a couple of us, when we won in 2020, did that. We got some watches made that had, you know, world champs inscribed on the watch. And there was only like maybe 12 or 14 of us that got it that time. But I think a lot of the guys are pretty in on it this year. So we're working on getting a nice watch for everybody, one that everyone would want to buy, and I think we're gonna come out pretty good with that one.
I love that. I can't wait to see the watch. I'm gonna tell you now, I cannot wait. You guys have obviously, yes, we are in the first week technically of official spring training, but you guys have been here for a good amount of time now. To me, it shows not only the commitment you have to this game, to this organization, but the drive you guys have to achieve something special this year. What has it just said to you personally, seeing how everyone has shown up for this spring?
It's such a grind, but the work that we're doing has been so fun with it that it doesn't feel like a grind. You know, we've been taking ground balls for almost 2 hours a day, and we're talking so much and communicating so much about it and trying to figure out how we can do things better that it hasn't felt like 2 hours. It's been amazing work, and we've been loving it so far. To me, it just shows how hungry everyone is to come back and win again this year.
I think not only for you all, but it excites everyone for what this year is going to look like. We know it's going to be special. We know you guys have big goals, so I cannot wait to see how you all just perform as you always do for the 2025 season. So thank you as always, Max.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Can't wait to get back out there.
Carl's junior moment of the game. James, it's Kike Hernandez at the hot corner. Look at this play.
Yes, very suave right here, as he would say. You know, very smooth. That's what that means. But just great play right there with the purple glove. Looks tiny, but actually looking at it again, I think it's because he actually wears it off his fingers a little bit. But you get more length right there. Great throw. Keep the momentum going. Umpire did not get out the way. Great play.
Great stuff there from Kike Hernandez. Let's go back to Arizona. Landon Knack with Kirsten and the media.
Landon, just to get out there to get into the second inning, how are you just kind of feeling when it came to the execution of your stuff? And was there anything in specific that you were maybe working on with this outing today?
Yeah, it felt good to get kind of the second up in a little bit. Early on, we were just trying to work on getting the slider back going. Early on and so far in camp, I just haven't quite had the feel for the slider yet. And so today took a big stride there, but then it was just like a little quick on the curveball and changeup a little bit. So really was just trying to mix as much as possible. So I think I probably could have attacked more a little bit just heaters because the fastball did feel really good today, but was just really focused on trying to mix some of there. So got into a little bit of some deep counts, but big step forward with the slider today. So
is that a pitch that when you come into camp you kind of feel like usually early in camp you have it, and it's just taking a little bit longer this year, or how has that kind of played out for you in regard to like your progression in camp?
Yeah, usually my slider is kind of my bread and butter, where I can, it's like if I'm behind in counts, like the slider is the one I can really land easily and have the best feel for. Usually we made some like little adjustments with it this offseason that have just taken a minute to just kind of lock in right now as we're getting going, and then so this last bullpen made the adjustment with that, so it's been feeling a lot better.
How do you kind of look at like where you're at in the roster this spring? Like, obviously there's so much talent on the pitching staff now. Like, can you kind of look at it as like being part of that competition for the last rotation spot? Like, where do you kind of see yourself fitting in at this point?
I mean, yeah, obviously I feel very confident where we're at right now. I think more than anything, I'm just trying to focus on my own process of things. I mean, obviously we have such a talented roster. Whatever kind of role ends up fitting for me this year, I think last year I also showed that I can be a little versatile, whether it's long relief or start or kind of whatever is needed. And so just kind of feeling very confident about where we're at right now and just trying to take care of what I can.
All right, let's take a look at some of the Dodgers' key upcoming dates with only 12 more Cactus League games to go. March 18th and 19th, wheels up to Japan for that Tokyo series against the Chicago Cubs. Then back to Southern California, the annual Freeway Series with the Angels beginning March 23rd. March 27th, the home opener against the Detroit Tigers, with March 28th being ring ceremony night at the Ravine. Tomorrow, Shohei Ohtani is going to be in the lineup for the first time this spring. He's taken live BP. He's also been throwing bullpens because he's going to come back as a pitcher. But with less than 2 weeks of live action remaining in Arizona, James, what are Shohei's goals?
Yeah, we see them right here on the tee getting some work in. But I like seeing guys get on the machine, seeing different speeds, seeing a lot of breaking balls. I mean, that's obviously what he's going to see a lot during the season. And I think with tomorrow, in the lineup, being ready to hit, because a lot of times guys are saying, I want to take some pitches, I want to take some pitches. I like that. I like to do that on the backfields, right? I like to see those on the backfields. I want to know what I can hit during the game. I want to know if my timing is right during the game, and I don't want to just be in take mode. I like to feel like I'm going to swing and be ready to hit.
All right, everybody excited to see the return of Shohei to the field. That one tomorrow. Another All-Star making his spring debut tomorrow is going to be the Dodgers catcher Will Smith. He will be in the lineup behind the plate. JP, what do you think his goals are for the remainder of Cactus League play?
Smith, by all accounts, ended last season healthy, so he is able to have a normal offseason, come in and have a normal spring training. What makes this abnormal, you're seeing it right there. He's got some new pitchers to learn. He's got some tough pitches to catch. I don't want to be on the receiving end of a Roki Sasaki splitter, but that guy's got to stop it from going to the backstop. Once you get to know your new staff, I really think that the goal for Will Smith is really a long-range one. The last few seasons, we've really seen him tail off in the second half of the season. We don't want to see that from Will Smith again. He doesn't want to see it from himself. So he has to be able to pace himself like a veteran so that he is the same fresh and ready player in the first half of the season as he is after the All-Star break.
And despite the ankle injury, he has been able to work with those pitchers catching bullpens, just hasn't been able to swing the bat and run the bases as of yet. He will do that tomorrow. Coming up, some final thoughts and a look ahead to Friday. It will be Shohei Ohtani and Will Smith's turn to take the field for the first time in Cactus League play. Stay with us. Tomorrow, Dodgers taking on the Angels. Little Freeway Series, Camelback Ranch style. Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, expected to be in the lineup for the first time this spring. Ohtani coming off of shoulder surgery, had that right after the World Series. And Smith has had a slow buildup in camp due to the right ankle injury. So it'll be good to see the two of them get going with only 11 more games remaining in Arizona. Meantime, Dustin May, he is scheduled to make his second start of the spring. He pitched a very emotional one inning last Sunday. Noticeably was pumped up after a strikeout to end his outing. JP, what are you going to be hoping to see out of Code Red now that he's got one under his belt?
I want to see that Dustin May isn't exerting too much pressure on himself to just make the team out of camp, make the opening day roster. We know he's missed a long time. We know this is a guy who has a power repertoire when he's on. But is he living too much to the high end of his velocity with every single pitch? You don't need to be doing that. It's spring training. Pace yourself, get all your pitches down, and don't try to win the World Series today in February.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell a guy to tone it down, right? When you have that kind of stuff, that velocity, with that movement. I think that's, it's kind of hurt him at times where you don't know exactly where it's going. But this is a situation where I feel like he's got to get the mechanics synced up, feel good going out there. Like you said, don't try to overpower these guys. Use your legs, drive off that mound. Your arm will whip around, because we're seeing so many injuries now with guys that are throwing that cutter at such a high velocity. Mm-hmm. He's got great movement, but he doesn't need to get out of his mechanics and hurt himself.
He's a dangerous guy on the mound, James. What do you see a potential role being for Dustin May this year? Do you like him in a starting role? Or would you rather see him come in and empty the tank for an inning or two out of the bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind him coming out of the bullpen. I mean, I know, we get some more velocity, maybe an inning or two, just something where that fastball is riding away from lefties. I mean, he's the guy you could bring in if you don't want to bring in a lefty, right? He's a guy that can get lefties out. He can overpower anybody. So I do like that bullpen role.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see if he is going to make that transition. Get some reps in here in spring training.
All right, that does it for us. For JP, James, and Kirsten, I'm John. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, Dodgers and Angels pregame, the three of us, 4:30 right here on Sportsnet LA.
メジャー翻訳速報。
今春の残り試合はあと11試合となり、いよいよ開幕が近づいています。大谷翔平選手の復帰は本当に待ち遠しかったですね。怪我からの復活を果たしたフレディ・フリーマンの姿にも勇気づけられます。今年のドジャースは大谷翔平、山本由伸、そして充実した打線と投手陣で本当に楽しみです。このチャンネルでは引き続き日本人メジャーリーガーの現地での評価や活躍を翻訳してお届けします。チャンネル登録と高評価、コメントをいただけると嬉しいです。また次回お会いしましょう。